Female cheating signs exposed. The psychology women can't hide, men must watch. Psychology tricks. Let's be real. Cheating doesn't come out of nowhere. No one wakes up and says, I think I'll destroy my relationship today. No, it builds quietly, patiently, like a slow leak in your roof. Drip by drip. A missed text here. A cold glance there. A hug that feels just a little too formal. At first, you might brush it off. Life is demanding, work, bills, the grind. She's just stressed, you think. She's been overwhelmed. You tell yourself that it'll pass. But here's the thing, the cracks are already forming. You might not see them yet, but the damage has started. And when it all comes crashing down, when the laughter is gone and the texts become fewer, you'll realize she's no longer emotionally present. The woman you once knew has checked out, and you were blind to it until it was too late. Here's the reality that's rarely acknowledged. A woman who cheats leaves signs. There are always clues, subtle but unmistakable. It's never a clean break, and it's never without signs of decay. Those signs were always there. They were scattered like breadcrumbs, waiting for you to pick up on them. But you ignored them. You convinced yourself that she was just tired, just needing some space, that things would get better with time. Yet, deep down, you knew something was off. That nagging feeling, the one you couldn't quite put into words. It's that sense in the pit of your stomach in the quiet of the night, that unshakable thought that something's wrong. If you've ever felt that weight, that quiet dread, or found yourself staring at an empty space where warmth once thrived, you know exactly what this is about. Because when a woman strays, she leaves behind evidence. Signs you'll revisit and wonder why you didn't see them sooner. The footprints in the mud that you never followed, but always could have. Sign 1. Her attention shifts and she pretends it hasn't. This one doesn't scream. It whispers. It creeps in. You don't need a degree in psychology to sense it. All you need is to pay attention to the change in her vibe. At first, she's all in, asking about your day, holding your hand for no reason, smiling when you walk into a room. There's warmth, interest, and connection. But then, out of nowhere, something feels different. You're talking to a stranger, not the woman who once couldn't wait to hear your stories. She doesn't ask how your meeting went. She doesn't laugh at the jokes she used to love, and she forgets little things, like your mom's birthday or the fact that you're allergic to shellfish. You start to feel it. You're being forgotten. When you confront her, asking if something's off, she'll hit you with the classic line, "You're overthinking. I've just been tired. You're being insecure." That's her deflection. But here's the truth, brother. Don't be fooled. Women don't just pull away for no reason. They pull away when their emotional investment starts shifting elsewhere, whether that's towards another man, a fantasy, or simply the allure of freedom. This is the first crack in the foundation of your relationship. Emotional distance always comes before physical betrayal, and that's something you must understand. This isn't just a minor change. This is female psychology at work. The truth is that her focus has shifted. She's stopped prioritizing you, your thoughts, your feelings. Instead, her mind is occupied elsewhere, and while she may try to cover it up with excuses or gaslight you into thinking you're paranoid, don't buy it. What you're experiencing isn't just a fleeting phase, it's a shift in her emotional attachment. The psychology tricks women use to hide their disinterest can be slick, but you must trust what you're feeling. That emotional distance she's creating is her way of signaling that she's no longer fully engaged. And that, my friend, is something that can't be easily masked. Watch for it. It's not always going to slap you in the face. It's going to slip in quietly, just under the radar, but you must notice. The sooner you catch it, the sooner you can face the reality of where things really stand. This is how female psychology works when they're pulling away, and it's something you can't afford to overlook. Don't wait until it's too late. Sign 2. She starts hiding the small stuff. Cheating doesn't begin where you think it does. It's not some dramatic scene in the bedroom. Forget what Hollywood sold you. The reality is, it all begins in the subtle shifts, the quiet moments, and the sudden silence. That's where you need to start paying attention. Remember when she used to tell you everything? Even the smallest, seemingly insignificant details? The silly stories from her day, what Susan said at work, how the dog barked at the delivery guy. Those little things mattered. They were a part of her world, and she shared them with you because you were a part of it. But now it's different. You ask her how her day was, and you get a simple, long day, followed by her walking away. No details, no warmth in her voice. It's like she's pushing you away without saying a word. You must recognize this as a red flag. This is more than just a rough day. It's the beginning of emotional distance. Then there's her phone. The phone that used to lie face up on the counter, accessible to anyone who walked by. Now it's face down, locked, constantly in her hand like it's some sacred artifact. It's always close by, even when she's in the shower. You joke about it, maybe even joke about being the insecure guy, and she accuses you of being dramatic, controlling, paranoid. But listen, this is no longer just a joke. She's dividing her life into two separate worlds, the one she shares with you and the one she's slowly building without you. She doesn't need to physically walk out the door to leave. That is the cold, hard truth you must accept. Sometimes she stays but quietly takes everything that matters with her, the laughter, the warmth, the loyalty, and most of all, the truth. These are the things that used to define your relationship, and now they're slipping away piece by piece. This is not just a minor shift in behavior. It's a signal that something is fundamentally changing. You have to understand this, because if you don't, you might just wake up one day and realize that the woman you thought you knew has quietly walked out of your life. Her emotional availability, her openness, her trust in you, those are the things that keep a relationship solid. And when she starts hiding the small stuff, she's hiding the big stuff too. Now, before you start spiraling into jealousy and self-doubt, take a deep breath. The key is not to panic, but to act. The first step is realizing this behavior is a sign that things are shifting, and the second step is to figure out how to address it. Don't let this go unnoticed. You must confront the situation with confidence and clarity. This is where the high-value man steps in. When you know your worth and stand by your principles, it's easier to navigate through this. You don't need to beg for her attention or loyalty. You need to ask yourself, how do I fall in love with myself first? That's how you show up as a high-value man in any relationship. Don't wait until everything crumbles. Pay attention to the silence. Pay attention to the small stuff. And most importantly, pay attention to her. Because if she's hiding the little things, the bigger truths might just be next. So take action, hold your ground, and remind yourself you're a high-value man, and you deserve a relationship where trust and openness are key. Don't settle for anything less. Sign 3. The intimacy vanishes or mutates. Intimacy isn't just about physical touch. It's the core of your connection, the energy you share, and the trust between you. When she starts straying, that intimacy shifts in a way you can't ignore. It's as if something crucial has been lost. She may pull away, becoming cold, distant, and it feels like your touch, your presence, is now an inconvenience. Or she might go to the extreme opposite, suddenly becoming overly sexual, more intense than ever before. Either way, it's a signal. Intimacy, like money, can't be spent in two places. When she directs it elsewhere, something between the two of you withers. What was once genuine becomes a performance, a distraction to conceal guilt. Sex becomes mechanical, an act, a show, or even a confession disguised as passion. It no longer carries the same weight. It's no longer real. You'll sense the difference in the silence that follows when she rolls over and turns her back instead of holding you close. You'll feel emptier, lonelier after moments that used to bring you closer. That emptiness is the residue of betrayal. Don't let this happen to you. Recognize it. Trust your instincts. You deserve more than to be left in a relationship that's become a facade. You must understand this. When intimacy shifts, something is fundamentally wrong. You must not ignore it. A woman's energy, her attention, her warmth are powerful forces in a relationship, and when those forces go elsewhere, the relationship itself is compromised. That coldness, that sudden intensity, isn't just a phase, it's a red flag. Let it be a wake-up call. When you feel more isolated in bed than you do when you're apart, it's time to step up. Your masculine energy demands that you remain sharp, observant, and decisive. You must recognize these signs early, before the damage is done. Remember the old Stoic wisdom: what you are unwilling to confront, you will never conquer. It's time to confront the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Don't waste time wondering why it's happening. Don't fool yourself into thinking things will get better on their own. They won't. You can only control how you react, how you protect your peace, and how you attract women who value you for who you truly are. A man who commands respect and lives with purpose will always attract women who share that energy. You've worked too hard on yourself, honed your masculine energy, to be dragged down by someone who isn't giving you what you deserve. That means being bold. That means putting yourself first. Know when to walk away and trust that better is ahead. The lesson here is clear. Don't let betrayal rewrite your story. Don't stay in a relationship where you feel like an afterthought, where your intimacy is a performance rather than a genuine bond. Remember, real intimacy, the kind that endures, is built on trust, connection, and shared energy. If those things are gone, you must be willing to walk away. That's how you will reclaim your power. That's how you will attract the right woman, one who values your presence, your masculine energy, and the bond you share. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Sign 4. She becomes overly defensive. You've been together for a while now, and suddenly, doubts creep in. You start asking questions about your relationship, wondering if something's off. Instead of her calmly addressing your concerns, she becomes overly defensive. This isn't a normal reaction. In fact, it's a major red flag. Every single question you ask is met with an exaggerated, hostile response, making you feel like you're attacking her rather than just seeking clarity. This behavior isn't about her defending the relationship or reassuring you. It's about her protecting something far deeper, the truth that she's hiding. When she claims that you don't trust her, don't be fooled. What she's really doing is redirecting the blame, trying to make you feel guilty for questioning her actions. But here's the thing: this defensive attitude isn't because of anything you did, it's because of what she's trying to hide from you. This is where an understanding of female psychology comes into play. Women often use defensiveness as a shield, a way to divert attention away from uncomfortable or incriminating truths. It's a classic psychology trick. If she can make you feel like the bad guy for asking questions, she can avoid confronting the real issue. This defensiveness isn't just about protecting the relationship, it's about protecting her own secrets. It's a manipulation tactic that works on the principle that if she makes you doubt your own suspicions, you'll back off and drop it. But here's the thing: deep down, she knows that if you keep pushing, the cracks will start to show. She knows that if you really pay attention, the story won't add up. In these moments, you must remember one simple truth: her over-the-top defensiveness is a red flag, not a shield. It's not about protecting you or the relationship. It's about covering up what she doesn't want you to see. Female psychology tricks like these are powerful, but once you recognize them, they lose their power over you. Don't let her turn the tables and make you feel like the problem. Stand your ground, trust your instincts, and remember that transparency is essential in any healthy relationship. If she truly valued honesty and trust, she'd be willing to have an open conversation. But the fact that she chooses defensiveness over discussion should tell you everything you need to know. Don't let her get away with it. You must demand clarity, because this behavior is a deliberate attempt to keep you in the dark. The truth is, when a woman becomes overly defensive, it's a sign that she's hiding something, something she doesn't want you to uncover. You must pay attention to this and not let it slide. Understanding female psychology and recognizing these subtle tricks is crucial if you want to protect yourself from being manipulated. So, next time you see this defensive wall go up, don't back down. You deserve the truth. Sign 5. She starts critiquing you more than usual. One of the most telling signs of a woman growing emotionally distant is when she begins to criticize you more than usual. You may notice that things that never used to bother her, small habits or trivial mistakes, suddenly become major issues. It's as if every little thing you do is wrong. Before, she might have given you a pass on certain things, but now It feels like you're under a microscope, with every action scrutinized, every word twisted. You may feel like no matter how hard you try, you're always the one who's wrong in her eyes. The way she rolls her eyes when you speak, the sharpness in her tone when she asks questions, or the passive aggressive comments she makes, these are all signs. What was once a loving, supportive relationship may now feel more like a battlefield where you're constantly on the defense. You start to wonder if you've done something to deserve it, or if there's something about you that's fundamentally flawed. The truth is, this criticism isn't about you. It's about the emotional disconnect between the two of you. But why does this happen? This constant critique can feel like a punch to the gut, but the root of it doesn't lie in your actions. It lies in her emotional state and the distance that's growing between you two. When she's emotionally checked out, she begins to notice all the things she dislikes more clearly. It's not that you've changed, it's that her feelings for you are changing slowly but surely. She's not criticizing you because you're failing, but because she's mentally and emotionally withdrawing from the relationship. If you're not careful, this will breed resentment and confusion. You'll question yourself, wondering where things went wrong. You may even start thinking that you're the problem, doubting your worth. This is where you need to be strong and take a step back. Don't let her criticisms define you. You must remember that this is not about you. It's about the state of the relationship and her own internal struggles. How to fall in love with yourself again. In the midst of all this, you must understand something important. If you're constantly under attack and feeling like you're doing something wrong, it's easy to lose sight of who you truly are. But don't let her critique be a reflection. Instead, take the time to rediscover your strengths, your worth, and your value. This is the moment to fall in love with yourself again. Remember, the man you were before all of this, the confident, high-value man, is still inside you. The key to rebuilding: assertiveness and boundaries. This behavior is a cry for help, not necessarily a personal attack on you. It's her way of signaling that something is wrong, but she doesn't know how to communicate it. She may not even realize the damage she's causing with her constant critique. That is why you need to set boundaries. Don't allow this pattern to continue unchecked. Be clear and firm about the way you deserve to be treated. It's okay to stand up for yourself. Don't accept toxic behavior, even from someone you love. If you feel like you're being unfairly criticized, it's time to have an honest conversation about the state of the relationship. Let her know that you are willing to work through things, but only if respect and understanding come first. Remember, as a high-value man, you deserve respect, and you deserve someone who appreciates you for who you are. Taking action, build the connection back. If you want to rekindle that spark, the key is in action. You must actively show her that you care, but also that you value yourself. Relationships require effort, but they must be mutual. If you're the only one trying, the emotional gap will only grow. You may not be able to change her behavior immediately, but don't let that discourage you. Focus on improving yourself and setting the example of what it means to be emotionally mature and high value. When you start investing in your own self-worth and personal growth, you begin to shift the dynamic. You may even find that the criticisms lessen as your own self-assurance grows. You must remember that how you see yourself impacts how others see you. If you radiate confidence and value, others will be more likely to reflect that back to you. Constant criticism from your partner is not just a passing phase. It's a sign that something deeper is wrong in the relationship. You must address this issue head-on and remember that you're not the problem. It's time to fall in love with the high-value man you know yourself to be and take steps to rebuild the connection with confidence. Don't settle for a relationship that drags you down. Take control of your emotional well-being and create a future where both of you can thrive together or walk away if it's no longer healthy for you. Sign 6. She becomes overly concerned with her appearance. When a woman suddenly begins obsessing over her appearance, spending hours at the spa, shopping for new outfits, experimenting with different hairstyles, or perfecting her makeup, it's a powerful sign of change. This shift isn't about self-care. It's about something deeper, a desire to draw attention, to attract someone else. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, Aristotle famously said. If she never used to care about how she looked, and now it seems like her whole focus is on impressing others, it's a way-up call. She is looking for validation, not from you, but from someone else. This is not just vanity. This is a clear sign that she is using her appearance as a tool to attract someone else, to reignite a spark with a different person. You must recognize this behavior for what it is, a red flag, a signal that her attention is no longer fully invested in your relationship. In today's fast paced world, where distractions are everywhere, it's easy to lose sight of the importance of maintaining masculine energy and self assurance. A woman who starts to shift her focus from her partner to her external appearance is seeking something outside of the relationship. She is tapping into a primal urge to attract women, to feel desired, and perhaps even to assert power over others. But this isn't about looks alone. It's about attention. It's about admiration. She may be using her newfound focus on appearance as a form of control, something that gives her a sense of power she doesn't feel within the confines of the relationship. As men, we must learn to recognize these signs. When you witness these behaviors, it's vital to step back and assess the situation. You must never ignore the importance of your own masculine energy. Your strength, presence, and confidence are what drew her to you in the first place. If you feel her attention drifting, it's time to reassert your leadership in the relationship, to remind her of the stability, the loyalty, and the depth you bring. Don't let her misdirect her energy elsewhere. You've worked hard to build a bond. Now, it's time to make sure that bond is stronger than ever. This isn't about controlling her. It's about ensuring that she knows your presence and value, as well as reinforcing your role as the central force in her life. In the words of the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Don't let her obsession with outward appearances cloud your judgment or weaken your resolve. Stay grounded in your own self-worth and make sure she sees you as the source of fulfillment. Don't let these signs go unnoticed. Strengthen your masculine energy. Hold your ground. Be the man who leads. Your presence is the anchor she needs. If you don't take action now, you risk losing her to a world of distractions, to a pursuit of fleeting admiration. Remember, you have the power to lead your relationship, to keep it intact, and to ensure that her attention is always on you. Master this, and you will master your life. If you recognize these signs in your relationship, it's time to take control and assert your presence. Don't let distractions pull her away. Reaffirm your strength and leadership. Your relationship deserves it. Comment to interact. My masculine energy leads my relationship. Like, comment, and share with anyone who needs to hear this today. Don't forget to subscribe for more valuable insights. Sign 7. She becomes emotionally unavailable. When a woman becomes emotionally unavailable, it's one of the clearest signs that something has shifted. You'll notice it in the way she withdraws during conversations, no longer sharing her thoughts, feelings, or expectations like she once did. Her emotional support, which you once relied on, suddenly fades away. In moments when you need her most, when you need someone to listen or offer comfort, she isn't there. You feel the disconnect, a coldness where warmth used to be. And when you confront her, she might say something like, "I just don't feel the same anymore." Let me make this clear. This isn't just a phase or a temporary problem. It's a sign that the emotional bond between you has weakened, and in some cases, she may have found someone else who is filling that emotional void. This isn't just about a lack of affection. It's a deep disconnection that signals a possible emotional affair. As a man who attracts women with his masculine energy, you must recognize these signs before it's too late. In today's world, we often think that relationships are built on a foundation of trust and love, but let me tell you, emotional availability is just as crucial. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said, said Peter Drucker, and this applies here. If she isn't emotionally available, she's no longer communicating with you. It's time to reflect on your own masculinity and the energy you're putting out. Are you engaging with her emotionally, or have you been neglecting your own needs? Men who are grounded in Old Stoic wisdom know that emotional strength is not just about control, but about knowing when to act, when to pull back, and when to hold your ground. You cannot allow emotional disconnect to weaken your power in the relationship. Take charge now. Don't wait for her to make the first move. Don't beg for attention or affection. Understand that emotional unavailability is a sign you're being sidelined in favor of someone else. Recognize your worth and value. If she's emotionally distant, it's time to evaluate the situation and make the necessary adjustments in your life. You are not here to beg for emotional intimacy. You are here to stand tall, grounded in your masculinity, and attract women who align with your energy and purpose. It's time to refocus and take back control of your emotional connection, or walk away and find someone who can meet you on the level you deserve. Your time is valuable. Protect it. Act now. Sign 8. She stops defending the relationship. When a woman starts to emotionally pull away, it's often a sign that she's no longer invested in the relationship the way she once was, and one of the most significant and telling signs of the shift is when she stops defending the relationship. Think about it. When everything is still strong between the two of you, she'll likely stand up for you and the bond you share. If anyone questions the strength of your relationship, whether it's friends, family, or even a random comment from a coworker, she'll be quick to speak up, defending your connection with conviction. But when things begin to change, something shifts. Suddenly, she doesn't bother to defend the relationship anymore. When people ask her about your future together, she might give a vague response, shrug it off, or simply remain silent. Worse yet, she might even agree with negative comments about your relationship. This is a profound shift in behavior that signals her emotional detachment, something that's much deeper than just a passing phase. What you need to understand is that when she stops defending the relationship, it's not merely because she's being passive or doesn't care. In fact, it could be a reflection of the powerful psychology tricks women often employ, even unconsciously, when they begin to emotionally withdraw. The silence she gives you, or worse, the subtle agreement with criticism, shows that she's mentally and emotionally distanced herself. And make no mistake, this is a huge red flag. The reasons behind this shift in her behavior are rooted deeply in female psychology. For a woman to suddenly stop defending the relationship, it often means that her emotional investment in it has already significantly decreased. It's not just about one moment of silence, it's the culmination of her feelings starting to change, and her not feeling the need to protect what once mattered so much to her. Here's the thing, emotionally, women can often be more perceptive and nuanced in how they process relationships than men may realize. They may begin to emotionally distance themselves long before the issues become obvious on the surface. That's why it's crucial for men to watch for these subtle signs, because by the time she stops defending the relationship, the emotional gap between you two is already widening. It's no longer just about feeling disconnected or having a disagreement here and there. It's a full-blown detachment from something she once valued. Don't ignore the significance of her silence. In fact, in the world of female psychology, silence can be one of the most powerful forms of communication. When she stops defending your relationship, it's a clear message that she is checked out emotionally. You may still feel like everything's fine, but she's emotionally not there anymore. This isn't something that happens overnight. The emotional distance grows little by little, and if you don't pay attention to the signs, you might find yourself caught in the aftermath, wondering where things went wrong. You must realize that this detachment is a key element of female psychology that can be subtle yet profound. When she no longer feels the need to defend your connection to others, you are witnessing a significant psychological withdrawal. You can no longer rely on the assumption that everything is fine just because she hasn't outright broken up with you. Her lack of defense doesn't necessarily mean she's outright abandoning you, but it is a warning sign, a loud, silent warning that her heart is no longer in it. It's time for you to start paying attention, asking the right questions, and facing the reality of the situation. If you let this continue without understanding the psychological dynamics at play, the emotional distance will continue to grow until it's irreversible. You must act. You must be alert. Recognize that female psychology is tricky, and sometimes the most profound shifts are hidden beneath subtle behaviors like this. You can't afford to wait until it's too late. Her stopping the defense of your relationship isn't just a sign of disinterest, it's a signal of emotional disengagement. And if you don't catch on, you might find yourself blindsided by the eventual collapse of something you thought was secure. Be proactive. Understand the psychological tricks women can unconsciously use, and don't let your relationship fall apart without trying to understand the deeper currents that are shaping its course. Sign 9. Her future plans no longer include you. This one doesn't come with a fight. It comes with quiet. She stops saying we, starts saying I. When we go on vacation becomes I want to travel more. When we get a place together becomes I've been thinking of moving. She talks about growth and healing, but not with you. When you ask, where do I fit into this? She looks confused. Because in her mind, she's already gone. That's when you realize you're just waiting to be notified. You're a ghost in your own relationship. The bigger truth: cheating isn't a random act, it's a slow erosion of connection. It begins the moment she disconnects emotionally and decides not to reconnect. The signs are always there, but you have to be brave enough to see them and strong enough to walk away. Because if you let someone cross your boundaries once, you've taught them it's okay to do it again. So, what do? You stay awake. You stay grounded. You listen to your instincts. And most importantly, you don't shrink for anyone who's outgrown their loyalty. Cheating destroys more than trust. It kills the dream you were building together. But remember, your love was real. Your effort was real, even if her commitment wasn't. This isn't just about her. It's about you. About what you tolerated in the name of love. About the signs you ignored in the name of hope. Bonus tip: watch how she repairs. Every relationship has problems, but real love leans in when things get hard. If she no longer repairs with you, she's already rebuilding without you. That's your signal. Now what? You've seen the signs. You've felt the ache. Now it's time to choose clarity over confusion. Stop guessing. Stop waiting for someone who's already gone. You don't need closure from her, you need courage in yourself. Comment clarity if you feel this in your soul. If you're done tolerating emotional neglect, if you're done questioning your worth, let this be the day you stop begging to stay where you're being emotionally evicted from. Because on this journey, we don't chase shadows. We sharpen minds. We don't teach you how to win her back. We teach you how to never lose yourself again. At the end of the day, recognizing the signs of emotional withdrawal and potential cheating in a relationship isn't about being paranoid. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. Relationships are meant to be a source of growth, support, and mutual respect, not emotional turmoil or confusion. If you've noticed these signs, whether it's emotional distance, defensiveness, or a lack of intimacy, it's time to take a step back and reassess where you stand. Don't let fear or the hope of things getting better blind you to the truth. You deserve to be with someone who values you, who is present both emotionally and physically, and who works with you to build something meaningful. Cheating doesn't just destroy trust, it erodes the foundation of the relationship itself. But here's the empowering truth: you have the power to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Trust your instincts, set your boundaries, and never settle for less than the love and respect you deserve. Remember, true strength is in knowing when to let go. Stay grounded, stay confident, and always prioritize yourself first. Never lose sight of who you are and the value you bring to the table. Your future is in your hands. Take control of it.